children, welcome back. The topic I am going to teach you today is phylum Echinodermata, right? Again, you know it is a non-chordate from class 11, chapter 4, Animal Kingdom. Also, you know that I have already shared many characteristics of hemichordate in my first 3 lectures where I gave you a comparative account of the various characteristics of the non-chordates. So today we are going to see those points in details and maybe some more new points. As we know, we always started with the habitat, and I earlier also told you that the habitat of echinoderm, they are exclusively marine. There are very few group of animals who are exclusively marine. One of them is your hemichordates, and they are all bottom dwellers. They are normally found at the bottom of the ocean floor, right? Then what is their body form? If you look at the body can be variously shaped. It's not that always they are star shaped. They have various other forms as well. But one thing is very characteristic is that to them they have an endoskeleton of calcareous plates called as ossicles. If you remember, I told you they have such calcareous plates, and these calcareous plates are actually something big structures which are quite deep embedded within the skin, and these calcareous structures, these exoskeleton made up of calcareous structures, these are called as ossicles. Now other than that, they have one interesting thing, that the oral end, that is the mouth, is on the lower end and the anus is on the top. See, if you look at this body, here also they have a mouth on the lower side. So this side where they have the mouth, this is called as the oral side, and this side where they have the anus, this is called as the aboral end. So if you look at this is your digestive system. This bottom end, it actually consists of the mouth. The mouth is found here, and this end, this is called as the anus. So this end is actually the oral end, and this one, that is called as your aboral end, right? So they have a mouth on the lower side and anus on the upper side. Now they are variously shaped, as I told you. They can be either star shaped. You can see there, some of them are cylindrical, some of them are little bushy in appearance. So they are variously shaped. The body is unsegmented. You know that only 3 organophyla. The body is segmented. One is annelid, arthropod and chordates. So obviously the body is unsegmented but variously shaped. The symmetry is radial symmetry. Here I want to tell you something very interesting, very important, both for your school exam, very important, both for your school exam and your medical exam. That is the larva. This is a unique phylum where the larva is bilaterally symmetrical, while the adult is radially symmetrical. I just want to tell you something over here. When I was in graduation, we had to study larval forms in echinoderms. So, I just went to my teacher, I asked him, and that was a very important question, write a note about the various larval forms in echinoderms. They have a lot of larvae, different types of larvae, so write a note on the various, larval forms in echinoderms. I went to my teacher and he asked me one question. See, this is how we develop concepts, and this is how my teacher taught me how to think conceptually. He asked me, Shweta, you just tell me one thing, is a larval form, is it an exceptional phenomena in non-chordate? क्या larva non-chordate पे पाया जाना, is it exceptional? I said no. As per my knowledge, almost all the non-chordates, they have larva. As per my knowledge. So that's not very exceptional. So he told me that when larval forms and found in all Porifera, Coelenterate, Ctenophora, Platyhelminth, in all of them, then why only larval forms in echinoderms has been specifically put up in your graduation? Graduation में केवल आपको echinoderm का ही larval form क्यों पढ़ना है? And then he gave me this task. He told me, go back home, think over it, and then that should be your introduction into the question. The introduction should always be unique. Thanks to his guidance, because of his guidance from graduation till my entire academic career, I have always been a gold medalist because he taught me how to think scientifically. I went back home, I then did a lot of research, and the story which I came up, just I am going to share. मैं आपको वो कहानी सुनाती हूँ. Actually, the larval forms of echinoderms are quite distinct from the adult. Larva एकदम adult से अलग दिखता है. On one hand, while the larva is bilaterally symmetrical, the adult, they are radially symmetrical. So initially what happened was, scientists assumed that You know the larval form and the adult forms, these are two different forms. उन्होंने सोचा कि this is a separate phylum and this is a separate phylum. So they placed the larval forms as a separate phylum. जैसे हमने मोलस्का, एनीलीड रखा ना, वैसे the larval form के जितने organisms हैं, they placed them in a separate phylum and the adult they placed in separate. Later they realized that okay, these organisms they gradually turn and they form this. Then they realized okay, so these are not some distinct organism. ये कोई अलग organism नहीं है. They are actually the larval forms of echinoderms. Right, so echinoderms are a very unique group because the larval form is quite distinct from the adult. The larval forms are bilaterally symmetrical while the adults they are radially symmetrical. Of the many distinct characters, this is one of them. So about the germ layers, we know that from platyhelminth onward, all of them are triploblastic and all of them they have a true coelom. That means they are coelomate. In them the coelom is reduced. You know that in us the coelom is still reduced. जैसे जैसे animals became complex ना, the coelom became reduced. You know, and in us, you know where is coelom in humans? आप बोलोगे मैम अगर हम कोई human का body काटते हैं, if I cut a body for human, I never find a cavity called a coelom as you said. Then where are your organs like you know heart, liver? Where are they? Where are they? You know that the central cavity is the gut, and the second sorry, this is not this is the diagram of an coelomate. This is the coelom. So please omit this diagram. This is the wrong diagram. This is the diagram of an coelomate. This is the diagram of a coelomate. Okay? And in them, see the coelom is quite reduced. This coelom is reduced. You know where is the coelom in us? You must have noticed that all our internal organs, say kidney, heart, they are all covered by membranes. Say this is your heart, right? You know that the heart is covered by a membrane called as peritoneum. And the space between the two, it is filled up with a fluid which acts as a shock absorber. Actually, this is the coelomic cover, this is the coelomic fluid, and this is the heart. It is this coelomic fluid which actually acts as a shock absorber. Human being में तो coelom इतना reduced हो गया, there is not one cavity like coelom जिसमें heart, liver, lung is found. You know, each organ has its own private coelom. You must have noticed even kidney is covered by an external layer. ठीक है, then your lungs they are covered by two membranes called as pleural membranes. So what are these membranes? The second membrane, the outer membrane is what? That is the sort of the coelom, you know, filled up with the fluid which acts as a shock absorber. तो आप ऐसा बोल सकते हो कि in lower animals it was a private bus, है ना, a public bus, not a private, a public bus, कोई भी चढ़ गया. That means the coelom was there was a common coelom in which all the organs were found. But in case of us, we are owning private cars. I have my own coelom, I have my own coelom. So coelom actually gradually became so reduced कि हमारे body में तो ढंग से दिखता भी नहीं if we cut a section. We just find it, you know, confined to individual organs. So reduction in coelom has been actually an evolutionary achievement to allow more organs to be accommodated and all organisms being covered by their individual coelomic membrane and fluid, so that all of them could, you know, work in a frictionless manner, because the fluid it actually acts as a shock absorber. So just for your knowledge, they are coelomate. The coelom is gradually being reduced, and of the level of organization, you know, it is organ system level of organization. So before I enter into the various systems like digestive system, अभी तक जो पढ़ा है, let me very quickly summarize it. I told you echinoderms, they are echinus means spines, a derm means the skin, the outer layer it contains calcareous ossicles, so they are called as echinoderms. They are exclusively marine, the body is triploblastic, coelomate, the coelom is highly reduced, the symmetry of the larva is bilaterally symmetrical, and that of the adult it is radially symmetrical. ठीक है, so these are some of the characters. They may be variously shaped, from star shape to cylindrical shape to many other shapes. They are normally bottom dwellers. So these are so many characters which you have already known. Now let us go to the systems one by one. Since they have organ system level of development, the first system I am going to discuss is the digestive system. I told you in them the digestive system is complete, but it is unique in the sense that the mouth is found on the lower surface. This is called as the oral end, and the anus on the upper surface, that is called as the aboral end. Digestive system is complete with mouth on the ventral lower side, right, and the anus on the dorsal or the upper side. ठीक है, So once we have done digestive system, now I will tell you something about the excretion. In them, the excretion takes place through the body surface. There is no excretory system. This is something very interesting. Now I am going to tell you. Echinoderm is a quite an advanced non-chordate. Non-chordate में काफी higher non-chordate में आता है echinoderm, because after this is hemichordate, उसके बाद तो we'll switch over to chordate. So as we go higher in the non-chordates, obviously the body complexity should increase. But in case of echinoderms, suddenly the complexity of the body has been minimized. How? You can see that in them the excretory system is absent and it takes place by diffusion. Now this is a primitive character having no proper excretory organ. Right? Why I am going to teach you this? Wait, see. Now come to respiration and locomotion. There is no unique organ even for respiration and locomotion. Why? Because they have a very unique water vascular system, also called as ambulacral system. In your NCERT, the term is water vascular system, but it is also called as ambulacral system. I think approximately 8 years back, जब झारखंड मेडिकल अलग होता था, या 8 या 9 years back, then this had come in Jharkhand Medical about ambulacral system. But you must know, this is a common word. The water vascular system is also called as ambulacral system. See what happens. Say again, if I assume this to be the body of a starfish. Okay? If I assume this to be the body of a starfish, just let me draw it like this. If I assume like this, what happens in them is, they have a reed. I have taught you earlier also, they have a circular canal like this. From this circular canal, you can see it very clearly. They have canals going into each and every arm, and these canals, they are again terminate into some bulb like structures. आप देख रहे हैं ऐसा bulb like structures में they end like this. Then this is here, then this like this, and we'll draw just for one, and the same will continue for all of them, and then this will come here, right? From here again it will go here, and so what happens is they form a complex canal system. What happens in this canal system is water is taken up by this circular canal. From this circular canal it goes through the radial canal to each and every part of and from this radial canal we have still smaller canals coming out. Okay? Water comes, it goes through this canal system, and this canal system you can see it has further sub-canals, जिससे water reaches almost every cell of the body. This water which enters through the canal, this water brings food and oxygen, ठीक है, from the water. ये तो exclusively marine है, पानी से ये food and oxygen लेकर through this water vascular system or the ambulacral system, the food and oxygen is actually sent to each and every cell of the body. Now what will happen? These cells, they will release their waste, metabolic waste and CO2 into this water. So as water will be flushed to the outside, these waste will always also be thrown away. This one water vascular system, just see here, I'm just going to first rub it out, whatever I have drawn, then I can show you as per the notes that is given over here. The presence of ambulacral system, that is water vascular system, is characteristic of phylum Echinoderms. It consists of a ring canal. You can see this is the ring canal. From ring canal, there are radial canals. So you can see this is the radial canal, and each radial canal, it actually ends in a bulb-like structure. This is called as tube-like appendage, called as tube feet, right? So these structures, जिसमें ये end करता है, ये bulb जैसा structure, this is called as tube feet. Now what happens is, because of the presence of this water vascular system, they do not require an excretory system. Why? Because ये पानी ही waste लेकर बाहर आ जाता है. So I do not require a separate excretory system. I don't require a circulatory system. Why? Because the water circulates food, oxygen to all parts of the body and takes away the waste and CO2. I do not require a respiratory system. Why? Because water में ही oxygen is reached to every cell, and water only takes out the CO2. So most of the major organs like the excretory system, the respiratory system, the circulatory system, all these systems, they are absent in them. In fact, there is no locomotory system as well. Why? Because ये जो end में, I told you the tube feet, what happens is you will have to imagine here, and then I am going to show you once again in other diagrams. So there is a radial canal, circular ring canal, then there is a radial canal, and the radial canal ends in a bulb like structure. The moment the water gushes into this bulb, जैसे ही एकदम फोर्स से घुसता है, तो ये बलून जैसा स्ट्रक्चर जो ऐसे हैंग कर रहा था, दिस, ये आपका रेडियल कनाल है, एंड दिस एंड्स इनटू दिस ट्यूब फीट. द मोमेंट इट वाटर एंटर्स, इट गेट्स स्टिफ, and the moment it gets stiff, it has numerous, I'll show you, and with the help of this tube they actually move. I'll just show you the diagram. So the tube feet, actually this canal system, it helps in locomotion, circulation, excretion, respiration, and this tube feet which is found towards the end. ये जो tube feet, this helps in locomotion, capture of food, etc. Is that clear? So I'll show this in various other diagrams. We will have some interesting diagrams now coming up. So just see this, a very close view, how it actually looks. देखिए ऊपर में कितना numerous tube feet, and if water rushes in them, they all get tight. आप ऐसे सोचो starfish है, उसमें इतना tube feet है, water rushed, it has become tight. Now they will have become tight, so they actually help in locomotion. So just see this numerous tube feet you can see at the top. See here also, I'm just showing, this is the ring canal, this is the radial canal. The radial canal, it actually ends in tube feet. Just see here again, you can see this is your ring canal, this is your radial canal, and the radial canal, it actually ends in tube feet, and it is this tube feet. I will show you more diagrams, okay, for your concept. There's a lovely diagram, see here, it is such a nice one. Once again, this is the ring canal, then this is the radial canal, this will end in tube feet, and this is how the tube feet look. Once water is filled up, these tube feet, they get erect, and they also help in locomotion. One interesting fact over here. When I teach you, reproduction, इसके बाद हम reproduction पढ़ाएंगे. So one thing what you have noticed is that most of the major systems, they are actually absent in them. So circulatory system is also absent. Nervous system is ring-like. Why? Because neurons will go in the form of rings, and the body is normally in the form of a ring. So a nerve ring is present, जिससे आपके nerves go, and brain as such is actually absent in them. Now we'll come to reproductive system. And reproductive system में I want to tell you something which is actually very interesting. You know that asexual reproduction अब खत्म हो चुका है because the animals are getting complex. ठीक है, animals are getting evolved and complex. So I think last asexual reproduction you studied, it was in, I think, platyhelminths. They had asexual reproduction through regeneration. Then Haskell helminth, I don't think there was. Then in annelid there was no asexual, arthropod no asexual. Then in mollusca no asexual reproduction. Asexual is primitive. Suddenly echinoderm, again we have asexual reproduction, and you know that in them also the asexual reproduction is regeneration. अब regeneration में क्या होता है? You know that if you cut the body of a starfish into pieces, each piece, this is a piece, each piece will develop into the remaining parts and give rise to a complete organism. अब आपको देखिए, I'll tell you something very interesting over here. That regeneration was found only in platyhelminths. Why? Because the regeneration का मतलब क्या होता है? Regeneration का मतलब होता है when you cut the body part, it regenerates the body part, not heals it. What I mean by this is, I'll give you an example. Say if my finger is cut, मेरी यहाँ से उंगली कट जाती है. So what will you observe after few days? A layer of skin will come over it. So this is repair, not regeneration. मेरी उंगली वापस नहीं आ गई. If it got cut from here, this remaining part could not come here. Only a layer of skin came up. That was repair, not regeneration. Regeneration means, lost body parts को regain करना. That means the finger should have been grown again. Then we would have said regeneration. If you notice here, from here it is not repair that I have cut into pieces and there has been repair. No, the remaining parts have been recovered. This is called as regeneration. Why cannot regeneration happen in us? Because our body is a very complex body. Ours is an organ system level of development. In us, we have organ system level of development, or tissue, and first our cells are organized into tissues, and then tissues, they form organs, and organs form organ system. Now what will happen? Agar ye ungli cut gayi, it has by any accident it has been cut out, then what will happen? In order to regenerate this entire finger, all the 4 tissues, epithelial, connective, muscular, nervous tissue has to be made, then the bone has to be made, only then. It's not possible. It is not possible to regenerate so many tissues. If you remember, platyhelminth ka the body structure was very primitive, very primitive. Only little bit tissues are formed which have been defined into only very simple organ called an excretory organ. तो जब आप planaria को काटते हैं, let me draw planaria. So when you need to regenerate a planaria, very few things have to be regenerated, because here the body is made up of cells. The cells are made into tissues, and a very simple organ called as flame cells has actually been made. ठीक है, तो आपको क्या करना है? The cells have to divide, then the tissue has to be made. So it is tissue level of development. So regaining very primitive tissue was not a problem. As the complexity increased, now we are not only tissue level. The tissue, we have tissue system. We have more than one tissue organized into organs. Not possible to make it again. Now in case of echinoderms, suddenly once again all the organs have disappeared. There is no respiratory system, no circulatory system, no excretory system. That means somehow the body has become once again very simplified. तो अब अगर तुम इसकी बॉडी को काटोगे तो अब बनाने को बचा क्या? आपको सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम बनाना नहीं है, एक्सक्रीटरी सिस्टम बनाना नहीं है, रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम बनाना नहीं है. All you need to do is extend those canal systems. That is why regeneration was once again possible in echinoderms. See, echinoderms is very close to chordates. Right, it's very close to chordate, very evolved, but in them, water vascular system allowed them, giving away with most of the complex organs, thus allowing them the property of regeneration once again. Right, so now that you know this, so this is about the asexual reproduction. Coming to sexual reproduction, the sexes are separate. The male and female, they are separate. So male and female तो आपका mollusca में भी separate था, arthropod में भी था, annelid में भी, some annelid like Nereis में the sexes were separate, right? Reproduction is sexual, that is a common method. Fertilization is external. Most of the animals, I am not saying exclusively, but most of the animals were marine. ठीक है, जो marine उनमें normally fertilization external होता है. Development is indirect with a free swimming bilaterally symmetrical larva. I told you that in them the larva is bilaterally symmetrical. Okay? So these are some of the, I am just showing you some of the larva. This is the Dipleura, Bipinnaria, some of the common larva which is found in them. Let us look at this regeneration. You just cut them into pieces and the remaining pieces they will develop into an adult. Okay? So with that, the examples are, the characters are over. Now before I tell you the examples, let me quote those characters which are unique only to echinoderms, which allows you to identify an echinoderm, which is exclusively to echinoderm. That is the presence of calcareous, ossicles. Second, the water canal system or the ambulacral system. Third, having a larva which is bilaterally symmetrical. Fourth, something very unique to them is being exclusively marine. So these are some characters which are quite unique to this phylum. Okay. Now come to some common examples. Iska abbreviation is Oscea. They are found in ocean na. So OCEAN ke jagah OCEAA. Right. So O se kya hai? This is Ophiura, which is also called as brittle star. It looks like this. Theek? Oh, then what is C? C is Cucumeria. I'll show you the photo group. It looks like a cucumber, so we call it as sea cucumber. Then what is E? E is Echinus. It is sea urchin. I'll show you all these photos. These are not there in your NCERT, but I'll show you. E. Then come to A. What is A? A is Antedon, which is also called as sea lily. Right? And another A is Asteriasis. right, which is your starfish. This is your starfish. So you have to learn these 5 examples. So let us see them one by one. This is starfish, you have already seen it. So starfish you have seen, Ophiura you have already seen, that is brittle star. Let us see the remaining ones. This is how the sea urchin looks like. Does it not look like an urchin? But it is not urchin, it is an echinoderm. So this is sea urchin, also called as echinus. This is Antedon sea lily. See how beautiful it looks. See, this is Cucumeria. Just look, it looks like a cucumber. So we call it as Cucumeria. This is how it. So with that, most of the examples I have already dealt with you. Very quickly we'll go into the NCERT to see what is there in your NCERT. So here is your phylum Echinoderm. These are the 2 diagrams that is in your NCERT, and that is Ophiuria and Asterias. These animals have endoskeleton made up of calcareous ossicles. Hence they are called as Echinodermata, that means spiny body. They are marine organ system level of organization. Adult is radially symmetrical and larva bilaterally symmetrical. Very, very important. Take triploblastic coelomate digestive system. Their mouth is on the lower side and anus on the upper side. They have water vascular system, also known as ambulacral system, which helps in locomotion, capture, transport of food and respiration. This will come in your school exam also with the function. Excretory system is absent, sexes are separate. Fertilization is external with indirect free development and free living larva. These are some of the common examples that you are supposed to know. So with that we have come to an end to phylum Echinodermata. I hope you understood it well. In my next lecture I am going to take up the henichordate, the last among the non-chordates. Till then, keep studying, take care of yourself, goodbye and good luck.